welcome to Saphira. Today we are going to present an example of analyzing an EMC test report to figure out whether you already demonstrate compliance for another geography. So I've created a sample project based on an EMC test report I found online, the Gemberg UPS PC 652A. For the project setup, you can see the description of this. It's an uninterruptible power supply for a PC or other sensitive electronic equipment. And we have some details that our system suggested regarding the purpose, functionality, etc. Stuff that is all outside of the scope of the actual compliance story. So this is the test report. It's an old one. It's from 2009. I just found it on Google, so easy to use. We are going to save this report, and we're going to use it to access a new factor in the Saphira platform. So this new factor that we're about to see is that we have a few different types of gap analysis you could run in order to build up a coverage map of how closely you cover a new standard you want to cover, for example, for your CE block, if you're pursuing a new geographic expansion. So all we're going to use this for, because our system is not yet integrated with the gap analysis workflow, is we're going to upload this document. This standard doesn't mean that it's a standard, it means it's standard document type. We're changing all of that in the coming months. But let's take a look first at where this was. It's for iCloud, CF certificate. Let's get this uploaded, and it takes just a sec. It's going to check whether or not it needs to run OCR, and it did not, so it's in here now. Okay, so now we're going to go over to the Tests tab. And obviously, because this is a new project, there are no tests, we go over to this hidden functionality coverage map, and we are going to build a coverage map of this particular product according to a bunch of different EMC standards. So this is an EMC specific function for now, but this is meant to illustrate the kind of function that we build up for all kinds of different electrical, mechanical, fire, etc. safety. So we'll do the same thing with, for example, UF 100 and FPA 79 for a variety of other types of robotic products that we typically work on. So let's hit build coverage map. And the first thing we do is that for various sorts of EMC standards, which will be the same thing for again, other types of standards, we have a bunch of properties that we have to determine about your product. What type, according to the standard, did you evaluate to? As a result, was it a system that was intended for residential or light industrial use or heavy industrial use, whatever it might be? Or we can just say, hey, all this is stated in the report, just grab it from there. So in this case, it didn't show up, so we can just add it directly and say something like, hey, this is the Gemberg UPS, what was it, the UPS PC 652A. And we can say that this, we don't really need to say the version, and it is type 1 according to 5270, and this is the environment. There are AC lanes present, we really want to checked. So let's build the map now. Okay, so you can see the first version of this that showed up that didn't actually grab any information. So what this shows is that we have a whole bunch of gaps because our system didn't find any tests. It says, okay, look here, there are these are the original limits for radiation emissions tests, convective emissions tests, harmonics tests, etc. The standards they apply for, and the kind of tests you need to run. And if you scroll to the bottom, you can view these all as explicit test plans you need to perform or route out to your test steps. Let's take a look in a minute what this looks like if we actually find some of the tests. So if we scroll down, now that we've run this properly, still so many gaps, and you can view all the details here. You can see missing tests for the reasonings. But you can actually see which tests were run right down here. So conducted RF immunity, EFP burst, and the exact page that those came from, and then the actual inputs and details that were utilized. So you can see most of these cited EN 62040-2, which is not one of the immediate ones that we support, but will very soon be supported. One of the other cool things that we do behind the scenes here is we have mapping between these, so that if, for example, you fulfill some particular test for certain classes in KISPR, then that satisfies certain requirements from EM 5270. And that helps us mark down, for example, recommended reruns of delta tests or similar. Okay, hopefully this gives you some detail about some of the latest ways that we support EMC test analysis and how we apply this in the full gap analysis lifecycle.